Hey guys, welcome back. It is a foggy, cold, wet. It really ain't that cold. Seems cold because it's really damp out. But anyways, we are out here. I'm putting up fence now for the cows to be on cornstalks. So I'm out in the field. Um, we just have a small, it's like a 1 acre piece here right next to the pasture. I'm gonna fence off to start. Um, this piece here was a little bit wet when we went to chop, and so we just decided to let it be, and we combined it. So there's a 1 acre piece here. My plan is to leave them in this particular piece all winter. I'd like to feed hay out in the field a little bit more. Um, there was a video a couple weeks ago that I was hauling manure um, from a pile right up where they are being fed now. That it was just all hay. That's where the hay feeder sat. And it was, I don't know what I got out of there, 8 or 9 loads probably with the spreader. So um, my hope is to hopefully get them out here and potentially move the feeder around as we go, each bale or whatever we decide to, however we decide to do it. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna get them out here. I'll let them clean this up first. This should hold them for, I'd say, a week maybe, and then my plan is to go that way. I'll turn you around and I'll show you what we got going on here. And I got the posts in. I just got to run the string and just double check everything, and then probably kick the fencer on. I don't know if I'm gonna let them out today. We'll see. I got to run some errands this afternoon, and the calves tend to not figure it out right away. The cows are usually pretty good. The calves usually have to chase some calves the first couple days. So here's this little piece here. My plan is to go that way um, in the short-term future, fencing out that way a little bit. Usually don't need a lot, because usually once the snow falls, we get enough snow, I just tend to keep them locked in and feed hay, and then they get their little bit of silage. Um, but yeah, so they're up up in that general area is where the gate is. So and the corner of this is right there, and it'll run up along the grass there, and then it'll shoot over to that opening, and then it's going down right to where the edge of the black dirt is, and then over to the corner of the pasture. Um, I figure it's probably about an acre, maybe not quite. Um, like I said, just to get them started until I get the other fence made. So, yeah, the posts are in. I just got to run the string. I got it started. It's over in that corner. I figured it'd be easier for me to walk it out rather than try and use the four-wheeler. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna do this, and hopefully we have some cows out here in the next day or two. Hey guys, so got my cow fence all done. I didn't let them out. I think tomorrow morning I'm gonna go ahead and let them out. This afternoon I did a bunch of running around. I needed a bunch of feed. I had to go through. I needed some syringes for the goats. Just kind of some random loose ends kind of stuff. Um, so one of the things I picked up was some more calf starter um, for my beef calves. Um, this is what I have been feeding, and they actually started eating faster than I anticipated. So I picked up 2 more bags. The first bag is almost gone. I think by the time they get through these 2 bags, I'll probably switch them to a corn oat mixture, with probably some distillers in, or I'll get like a supplement or protein mixture to mix in. So this is what I have been feeding. This is the same stuff that we had used when we had dairy. It is medicated. I'm just looking here on the label. Yeah, like coccidiosis. Yeah, so it's medicated for coccidiosis. We don't know what coccidiosis is. Basically, it's I want to say a worm, parasite, and it can wreak havoc on just about anything. Goats, steers, mainly younger animals. Usually, once they get older, it doesn't affect them as much. So would like to get them going on this stuff, and then we'll probably switch them onto something else. I also picked up some goat starter, or kid starter, I believe it's called. I don't know how well you can see that, but this is also medicated for the same thing, coccidiosis. Same brand as my supplement. We were going to start possibly tonight yet. At least get it in there in a feeder for the kids. I might go in there and talk about that as long as I'm in here or on the topic. And then before lunch, Dad had ran to the mill and picked up some medicated pellets, crumbles. We always call them crumbles, for the steers. So if I didn't say so, about 10 days ago or so, my dad purchased 40 feeder steers, anywhere from 300 to 700 pounds, just depending on price and quality. If they looked good and they went cheap, or went for an affordable price — I don't want to say cheap because we don't buy the bottom end, but a good price, not too high, not too low. And some of them, I guess I should say, some of them are very cheap, but from what my dad can tell, there's nothing wrong with them. So, I mean, that kind of plays a role. If you know anything about buying cattle, that's kind of, you gotta take a chance sometimes. So what this is a medicated crumble. I'm gonna, here, maybe I'll pull it down and look. So there's 2 drugs in here. I don't know exactly. Basically, this is an antibiotic feed. So we like to get this when we first buy the cattle. I believe somebody says it very well. If you are buying cattle from a sales barn, stockyard, auction, you always consider them a sick animal when you get them home. What we like to do, we haven't recently, but we used to run the animals through. We do give them an implant, which is basically, it helps them gain a little bit faster. I can talk about that at some point. But we like to also use, it's called LA200, which is basically a penicillin. Uh, it's it's not your typical, um, for lack of a better term, I'm going to say your weak medication. Um, it's also cheaper. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just it's a cheaper, less potent antibiotic. We like to give most of them one of those, just one shot of that, just to get them going. And then we like to feed this stuff, which is normally top dressed. What I mean by that is it's dumped onto the feed that's there. So they hopefully will go after this, get this for sure. You got to measure it out. It says on there how much each animal should be getting. And this will hopefully knock out any of those bugs, diseases, anything that they had brought in or possibly picked up while at the sale barn. You just never know. There's a lot of different farms bringing animals in. There's a lot of different things that they're getting, um, that's there and they're getting in contact with. Um, so with this stuff, we can't just go and go buy a pallet of this stuff or even getting a bag without a prescription from the vet. In the past year or two, I can't remember when they've passed it, but you need to get a vet prescription in order to feed this or buy it, because it is medicated. It's got different medication in. Basically, you're trying to treat an existing ailment, sickness, disease. With this stuff, this is more of a preventative, prevent it from happening. This is more of a treat and also prevent. The reason that we have to get a vet prescription, unfortunately, there's a lot of people in the world that think farmers dump antibiotics right into their cattle, right into their animals, and then the meat from the animal then it has that medication in it. So it's kind of frustrating to me. Why would we go out and pay? I'm not sure what he pays for that. I'm sure it's not exactly cheap. Why would we pay all that money just to dump it out to our cattle when they really don't need it, if they don't need it? Now, those cattle, when we first bring them onto the farm, we like to feed that. We only give them as much as they need. I don't know what he feeds a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Probably not quite. Just to get them healthy, keep them going. For animals, the worst thing is getting them started, especially when moving or bringing them to a new facility, putting them on a different feed. We feed all mainly corn silage with either high moisture corn, or right now we're feeding a wet cake, which compared to high moisture corn, it's basically the same stuff. And not all guys feed that. Some guys feed a little bit different, and so the feed is a little bit different, and they got to get used to that. They got to get used to the facility. Different winds, it's all different, and you got to get past that initial shock, if you will. Um, we usually do pretty good here. Unfortunately, you can't get them all. You can't cure them all. Um, I mean, we rarely have one pass away. But that it's part of farming. It's a part of life as well. People also get sick. People also die every day. Um, some expected, some unexpected. It's how it is. And when you get a couple hundred cattle around, you're gonna have one occasionally just go downhill. Um, and we pay good attention to our cattle. Um, Dad, when he feeds, he usually watches. He usually, um, from time to time, he'll go, "Yep, we got to give a couple shots today." And we go out and we get them in and we give some shots. Um, and it's what you got to do. But once you get them past their younger stages, get them started good. Usually you don't have much issue. From time to time we will have like a pink eye outbreak, which is also just treated by medication. Um, but I don't believe we have recently. But it is what it is. It's stuff you got to deal with. You got to fix it. You got to fix it right. You got to pay attention to labels and all that. So I guess that's what I got. I talked too long again. Hopefully you found this interesting. I explained how we start our cattle and all that. I would like to get some more shots of us working the cattle, but at the same time, we're always busy. I don't want to be playing with the camera, all day long. I might as well go ahead and explain, show our working chute, and possibly show what we use, and I can go over that at some point. But yeah, so thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you learned something. If you got any questions about feed or medication or anything, throw them down in the comments. I'll do my best. I'm not an expert by any means, but for anybody that doesn't know anything about it, hopefully I can help you a little bit. So yeah, throw them in questions in the comments. Subscribe if you will. I appreciate that very much. And I hope to see you next time.